Welcome to USA Old Coins X, where every golden dollar tells a story of power, history, and hidden treasure. We step into the shining world of USA gold dollars, coins that are more than just money, they are echoes of presidents, pioneers, and moments that shaped a nation. From rare finds tucked away in forgotten collections to legendary pieces that spark the dreams of collectors around the world, this journey is about discovery, mystery, and the thrill of uncovering true numismatic gems. Sit back, stay curious, and let the golden stories begin. Top 1. This is the tale of the Sacagawea Gold $1, a coin born not only to circulate in pockets and purses, but to honor a woman whose footsteps once traced the wild, uncharted paths of a growing nation. Settle in, let your imagination wander, and allow this story to unfold like a river flowing through time, carrying with it the echoes of explorers, dreamers, and collectors who now search for this very piece of history. The Sacagawea dollar begins its story long before the coin itself was ever struck, in the vast landscapes of the American West, where Sacagawea, a young Shoshone woman, became an indispensable guide and interpreter for the Lewis and Clark expedition. Her presence represented resilience, courage, and the bridging of cultures during one of the most ambitious journeys in American history. When the United States Mint decided to honor her at the turn of the millennium, it was more than a design choice, it was a statement. The nation wanted a coin that reflected inclusivity, exploration, and the spirit of discovery. As you listen to this story, imagine the echoes of her footsteps carried forward into the metallic glow of a modern dollar, a tribute forged in golden color and enduring memory. In the late 1990s, the Mint was searching for a way to replace the Susan B. Anthony dollar, which had struggled to gain popularity in circulation. The solution was bold: create a coin that looked and felt different, something warm and inviting, something that would stand out the moment it touched your palm. The result was a distinctive golden hue, achieved not with actual gold, but with a special alloy of copper, zinc, manganese, and nickel. This blend gave the Sacagawea dollar its unique appearance, making it instantly recognizable and visually striking. It wasn't just a coin anymore, it was a small, glowing emblem of a new chapter in American coinage. When the year 2000 arrived, it brought with it a sense of anticipation, a feeling that the world was stepping into a new era. The Sacagawea dollar fit perfectly into that moment. Its obverse featured Sacagawea carrying her infant son, Jean-Baptiste, a powerful image symbolizing motherhood, guidance, and the nurturing of future generations. The reverse displayed a soaring bald eagle, wings outstretched, representing freedom and the enduring spirit of the United States. Every line, every curve in the design was carefully chosen to tell a story, to speak to the past while looking forward into the future. As these coins rolled off the presses, there was excitement among collectors and casual observers alike. Banks displayed them in special packages, and people lined up to exchange crisp bills for the new golden dollars. For a brief moment, it felt like the Sacagawea dollar might truly become a part of everyday life. Children marveled at its color, adults admired its design, and collectors carefully tucked away pristine examples, sensing that this first year of issue might one day hold special significance. Even then, whispers of rarity and future value floated through the collecting community like a soft breeze, but the story didn't unfold exactly as expected. Despite its beauty and symbolism, the Sacagawea dollar struggled to find a permanent place in daily transactions. Paper bills remained more convenient, and many of these coins ended up stored away rather than spent. This unintended pause in circulation created an interesting twist in the narrative. Coins meant to be used and worn instead stayed fresh and unblemished, preserved in rolls, bags, and collections. Over time, this preservation would add another layer of intrigue for collectors seeking high-quality examples from that inaugural year. The year 2000 also saw the creation of special strikes and presentation pieces, adding depth to the Sacagawea dollar's legacy. Some coins were produced with extraordinary care, their surfaces gleaming like mirrors, their details sharp enough to catch even the smallest glint of light. These pieces weren't meant for vending machines or cash registers, they were crafted for collectors, for those who appreciated the artistry and craftsmanship behind every strike of the die. In these carefully made coins, the Sacagawea dollar transformed from a simple unit of currency into a miniature work of art. As the years passed, stories began to circulate about rare varieties and unique examples from the 2000 issue. Collectors spoke of subtle differences, of special finishes, of coins that seemed to carry a different kind of energy in their shine and weight. The hunt for these elusive pieces became a journey of its own, drawing enthusiasts into a world of magnifying glasses, reference books, and late-night conversations in online forums. Each discovery felt like uncovering a hidden chapter in a book that never truly ends. Imagine a collector opening an old box tucked away in an attic, the smell of dust and cardboard filling the air, and inside, a roll of Sacagawea dollars from the year 2000, untouched for decades. The moment the paper is peeled back and that golden glow catches the light, there is a thrill that words can barely describe. It's not just about money or rarity, it's about connection. A connection to the past, to the hands that once held these coins, to the moment in history when they were born. The Sacagawea dollar also represents a bridge between traditional coinage and modern design. Its smooth edge, its warm tone, and its powerful imagery set it apart from the silver and copper coins that dominated pockets for generations. It was a bold step forward, a reminder that even something as small as a coin can carry big ideas. For collectors, this makes the 2000 issue especially meaningful, as it marks the beginning of a new era in the story of American currency. Throughout the world of numismatics, the Sacagawea dollar has earned a place of respect. It's discussed in books, showcased in videos, and displayed in collections alongside coins that date back centuries. Yet, it remains approachable, a coin that many people have held, seen, or perhaps even forgotten in a drawer. This balance between familiarity and mystery is part of what makes it so captivating. It invites both seasoned collectors and curious newcomers to take a closer look. As you listen to this story, you might start to wonder about the coins in your own possession. Maybe there's a Sacagawea dollar tucked away somewhere, waiting to be rediscovered. Maybe there's a piece of history sitting quietly in a jar or a wallet, unaware of the stories it could tell. This sense of personal connection is what keeps the world of coin collecting alive and vibrant, turning ordinary objects into extraordinary treasures. The year 2000 Sacagawea dollar is also a reminder of how history and modern life intertwine. It carries the image of a woman who lived centuries ago, yet it was minted in a time of computers, cell phones, and a rapidly changing world. This blending of eras gives the coin a unique kind of magic, a feeling that time itself has been pressed into metal and passed from hand to hand. Collectors often speak of the feel of a coin, the way it sits in the palm, the subtle weight that gives it presence. The Sacagawea dollar, with its smooth surface and warm color, has a distinct character. Holding it can feel like holding a small piece of the American story, a reminder of journeys taken, challenges faced, and futures imagined. It's this emotional connection that often drives people deeper into the hobby, transforming curiosity into passion. Now, let's take a moment here, because this channel isn't just about telling stories, it's about building a community of people who share a love for these tiny pieces of history. If you have coins of your own, especially Sacagawea dollars or any other unique pieces, I invite you to comment below and tell us about them. Share what you found, where you found it, and what it means to you, so this channel can help you uncover more about your own hidden treasures. And now, as promised, we arrive at the moment that so many of you have been waiting for, the part of the story where curiosity meets value. If you believe you might have a special example of this remarkable coin, take a closer look, do your research, and don't be afraid to seek expert opinions. And remember, comment about your own coins so this channel can provide information about them. Subscribe to USA Old Coins X for more fascinating stories from the world of numismatics, and like this video to support our journey together. The Sacagawea gold $1 from the year 2000 can reach a value of $70,000. Top 2. We step into the year 2010, a moment when the golden glow of the Sacagawea $1 once again carried the spirit of exploration into the modern age. As you sit back and listen, picture this coin not as something small or ordinary, but as a shining messenger that traveled from the hands of history into the palms of collectors, dreamers, and everyday people who never realized the treasure they might be holding. This is not just a tale of metal and minting, but a tale of identity, resilience, and the quiet power of a symbol that refuses to fade. Long before the presses roared to life in the modern minting facilities, the soul of this coin was already alive in the story of Sacagawea herself, a young woman whose courage and knowledge guided an expedition across vast and unknown lands. Her presence on the $1 coin connects the distant past to the present moment, linking the wilderness of the early American frontier to the buzzing cities and digital world of 2010. The coin becomes a bridge between centuries, reminding anyone who looks closely that history is not something locked away in books or museums, but something we carry in our pockets, pass across counters, and sometimes forget in drawers and jars. As the calendar turned to a new decade, the United States Mint continued its commitment to honoring Native American heritage through the Sacagawea Dollar program, blending tradition with innovation. The year 2010 carried forward the golden hue that had become the coin's signature, a warm, almost glowing tone created through a special alloy rather than real gold. This color alone tells a story, because it was chosen to stand apart, to catch the eye, to invite curiosity. In a world filled with silver and copper shades, this coin shimmered like a quiet promise, suggesting that there was more beneath the surface if you were willing to look. The design of the 2010 Sacagawea dollar speaks in a language of imagery and symbolism. On one side, Sacagawea stands with her child, a timeless scene of guidance, protection, and the passing of knowledge from one generation to the next. This image feels almost like a frozen moment in a moving story, a reminder that the future is always carried forward by those who came before. On the reverse, the chosen theme for the year reflects the broader narrative of Native American contributions to the growth and shaping of the nation, adding a chapter to a series that turns each coin into a page in a living history book. When these coins entered the world, they did so quietly, without the fanfare of a major redesign or a dramatic launch. Yet, for collectors and keen observers, there was something special in the air. The world of 2010 was fast, digital, and constantly changing, but here was a coin that asked you to slow down, to hold it, to feel its weight, and to consider the story behind its existence. In a time when so much information flashed across screens in seconds, this small, solid object offered a kind of permanence that felt almost comforting. Many of these coins never saw the inside of a cash register or the clink of a vending machine. Instead, they were carefully set aside, stored in rolls, albums, and boxes by those who sensed that this year, this design, this moment might one day carry deeper significance. Over time, these untouched pieces became like time capsules, preserving the exact look and feel of a coin as it left the mint, its surfaces still glowing, its details still crisp, as if waiting patiently for someone to rediscover it years later. In the quiet corners of the collecting world, stories began to circulate about exceptional examples of the 2010 Sacagawea dollar. Coins with flawless finishes, with mirror-like fields and sharp, bold details, began to stand out from the rest. These were not just coins anymore, they were statements of craftsmanship, proof of what could be achieved when art and precision came together in a single strike. The hunt for these special pieces became a journey in itself, drawing people into a world of magnification, careful inspection, and shared excitement over every new discovery. Imagine the scene of a collector at a desk late at night, a soft lamp casting a warm glow over a small pile of coins. One by one, each Sacagawea dollar is lifted, turned, and studied, searching for that perfect balance of shine, detail, and condition. In that quiet moment, the outside world fades away, and all that exists is the connection between the person and the coin, between the present and the story it carries from the past. This is the magic that keeps the hobby alive, the feeling that every piece of metal might hold a secret waiting to be revealed. The 2010 Sacagawea dollar also stands as a symbol of cultural recognition, a reminder that the story of the United States is woven from many voices and many journeys. By placing a Native American woman at the center of a circulating coin, the nation made a statement about whose stories deserve to be seen, remembered, and honored. This gives the coin a weight that goes beyond its physical form, turning it into a conversation piece, a teaching tool, and a small but powerful emblem of inclusion and respect. For those who stumble upon one of these coins in everyday life, the experience can feel almost surreal. You might receive it as change at a store, or find it mixed in with other coins in a forgotten container. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, just another dollar. But once you know the story, once you understand what it represents, it becomes something more. It becomes a spark of curiosity, a reason to pause and wonder about where it has been and where it might go next. The journey of this coin does not end at the mint or in a collector's album. It continues through conversations, videos, and stories shared across the world. Each time someone talks about the Sacagawea dollar, they add their own chapter to its narrative. Maybe it's a memory of a grandparent who collected coins, or a moment when a child first noticed the golden color and asked questions about the woman on the front. These personal stories weave together, creating a tapestry of human connection centered around a simple, circular piece of metal. In the world of numismatics, the 2010 issue holds a special place because it represents continuity. It is part of a series that evolves year by year, each coin reflecting a different theme, a different aspect of Native American history and contribution. This makes collecting them feel like assembling a story one page at a time, each new piece adding depth and richness to the overall picture. For some, this becomes a lifelong pursuit, a journey that grows alongside their own life experiences. As you listen to this, you might start to think about the coins you have around you right now. Maybe there is a Sacagawea dollar tucked away somewhere, waiting to be noticed. Maybe there is a coin with a story you haven't yet discovered. This sense of possibility is what makes this hobby so inviting. It turns ordinary moments into opportunities for discovery, and everyday objects into gateways to history. The 2010 Sacagawea dollar also reflects the balance between tradition and modernity. It carries an image rooted in the early days of the nation, yet it was created in a time of advanced technology and global connectivity. This blend of old and new gives it a unique character, making it feel both timeless and contemporary at the same time. It reminds us that the past and present are not separate, but constantly shaping each other in ways both subtle and profound. In communities of collectors, whether online or in person, the 2010 Sacagawea dollar often becomes a starting point for broader discussions about history, art, and the role of money in society. People share tips on how to store and protect their coins, how to spot exceptional examples, and how to learn more about the stories behind different designs. These conversations build friendships and connections that go far beyond the hobby itself, turning a shared interest into a shared journey. And now, as promised, we arrive at the final chapter of this tale, where curiosity meets possibility and stories meet value. If you believe you might have a special example of this remarkable coin, take the time to look closely, to learn more, and to seek out expert insight. Remember to comment about your own coins so this channel can provide information about them. Subscribe to USA Old Coins X to continue exploring the hidden stories of American coinage. And like this video to support and grow this community of collectors and dreamers. The Sacagawea gold $1 from the year 2010 can reach a value of $40,000. Top 3. We step into a story wrapped in mystery, legacy, and golden legend, a tale that carries us back to the years after a nation was torn apart and slowly stitched back together. Our journey follows the name of Andrew Johnson, a man who stood at the center of American history during one of its most fragile moments, and a gold $1 that lives in the world of rare coins as a symbol of power, survival, and the enduring hunger for discovery. To understand the weight of this story, we must first walk the dusty roads of the 19th century, when the United States was emerging from the shadow of the Civil War. The country was healing, rebuilding, and redefining itself. Andrew Johnson, the 17th president, took office in a time of deep division and fragile hope. His years in leadership were filled with struggle, controversy, and the immense task of guiding a wounded nation forward. When collectors and storytellers connect his name to a golden coin, they are not just linking metal to a man, but tying a tangible object to a powerful and emotional chapter in American history. Imagine the world of the 1860s, when the sound of horse-drawn carriages echoed through cobblestone streets, and news traveled by word of mouth and ink on paper. Gold coins in those days were more than money. They were symbols of trust, stability, and prosperity. They represented the promise that even in uncertain times, value could be held in your hand. The idea of a gold $1 connected to such a dramatic era adds a layer of romance and intrigue that continues to draw collectors into its story. In the quiet halls of history, legends often grow where facts and imagination meet. The name Andrew Johnson carries with it the weight of leadership, reconstruction, and a nation trying to find its footing. When enthusiasts speak of a gold $1 tied to this period, they speak of it as a bridge between political legacy and numismatic wonder. It becomes less about whether such a coin passed through everyday hands, and more about what it represents, a symbol of endurance, of a country and a people moving forward, step by step, through uncertain ground. Collectors are often drawn to coins not just for their rarity, but for the stories they tell. A piece associated with the years of 1865 to 1869 carries the echo of major change. Slavery had been abolished, the Union was restored, and the nation stood on the edge of a new chapter. A golden coin tied to this era feels like a physical fragment of that transformation, a small, shining reminder of how far the country had come and how far it still had to go. Picture a collector holding such a coin in a quiet room, the soft glow of a lamp reflecting off its golden surface. In that moment, time seems to fold in on itself. The present and the past meet in the palm of a hand. The collector might imagine the faces of people from another century, the conversations held in candlelit rooms, the hopes and fears of a nation rebuilding itself. This is the magic of numismatics, the power of a coin to carry not just value, but emotion, memory, and imagination. The world of rare coins is filled with whispers of legendary pieces, stories passed from one collector to another like treasured secrets. Some speak of private collections, hidden vaults, and coins that only a few eyes have ever seen. The idea of a gold $1 connected to Andrew Johnson's era fits perfectly into this world of quiet fascination. It becomes a symbol of the ultimate find, the kind of piece that turns an ordinary collection into a legendary one, and a simple hobby into a lifelong passion. As the years go by, these stories grow richer. Each new generation of collectors adds their own chapter, their own theories, their own dreams. Some search for physical proof, others are content to explore the history and symbolism behind the legend. In both cases, the coin becomes a focal point, a star around which countless conversations and discoveries revolve. It is not just about owning something rare, but about being part of a story that stretches across centuries. The connection between leadership and currency has always been powerful. Money reflects the values, struggles, and ambitions of a nation. Linking a gold coin to a president who guided the country through one of its most difficult periods adds a layer of depth that few other pieces can match. It turns the coin into a narrative device, a way to explore the human side of history through something tangible and real. In the broader world of American coinage, gold pieces have always held a special place. They shimmer with a kind of authority, a visual reminder of wealth and stability. Even the idea of a gold $1 feels almost poetic, a small amount of metal carrying immense symbolic weight. When that idea is tied to a name like Andrew Johnson, the result is a story that feels both intimate and grand, personal and national at the same time. Collectors often talk about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of searching through old collections, auctions, and archives for that one piece that feels like it was meant for them. The legend of a coin connected to the years of 1865 to 1869 fuels that excitement. It gives people a reason to look closer, to dig deeper, to ask questions and chase answers. In this way, the coin becomes not just an object, but a journey. There is also a sense of responsibility that comes with holding a piece of history, real or legendary. To care for it, to protect it, to pass it on with its story intact. Coins like this remind us that we are not just owners, but caretakers of the past. We hold these objects for a moment in time, and then they move on, carrying our own stories with them into the future. In the digital age, where so much of life exists on screens, the physical presence of a coin feels almost grounding. Its weight, its texture, its shine are reminders of a world that exists beyond pixels and data. A gold $1 tied to a pivotal moment in American history becomes a kind of anchor, a way to touch the past in a very real, very personal way. Communities form around these stories. Online forums, video channels, and collector groups become meeting places for people who share the same fascination. They trade knowledge, debate theories, and celebrate discoveries. The legend of a rare gold coin becomes a common language, a way for strangers from different parts of the world to connect over a shared love of history and mystery. As you listen to this story, you might start to wonder about your own connection to the past. Maybe you have a coin passed down through your family, or a small collection that started with a simple curiosity. These personal stories are just as important as the grand legends. They remind us that history lives not only in museums and books, but in our homes, our pockets, and our memories. The years after the Civil War were a time of rebuilding not just cities and laws, but identities. The nation was asking itself what it meant to be united, to be free, to move forward together. A coin associated with this era carries that question within it. It becomes a symbol of resilience, of the human ability to endure hardship and still find a way to shine. As we come to the final chapter of today's journey, remember that every coin, real or legendary, holds the power to connect us to something larger than ourselves. It ties us to history, to each other, and to the endless human desire to explore, collect, and remember. And now, as promised, we arrive at the moment where story meets value and curiosity meets possibility. Remember to comment about your own coins so this channel can provide information about them. Subscribe to USA Old Coins X to continue traveling through the hidden worlds of American numismatics. And like this video to support and grow this community of collectors and storytellers. The gold $1 associated with Andrew Johnson from the years 1865 to 1869 can reach a value of $675,000. Top 4. This is the tale of William Henry Harrison, a president whose time in office was as short as a winter's breath, and a gold $1 that lives in the imagination of collectors as a symbol of fleeting moments, enduring legacy, and the timeless allure of rare treasure. Settle in, let the past unfold around you, and allow this golden story to guide you through corridors of memory, ambition, and discovery. To truly feel the weight of this journey, we must first step into the world of the early 19th century, a nation still shaping its identity, still stretching its borders, and still defining what it meant to be united. The streets were alive with the rhythm of horse hooves and the murmur of market traders. Newspapers carried the hopes and fears of a growing population, and gold coins glimmered in pockets as symbols of stability and promise. In this world, William Henry Harrison emerged as a figure of military reputation and political ambition, stepping into the highest office with the eyes of the nation fixed upon him, unaware that his chapter in the story of the presidency would be one of the briefest yet most poignant. The year 1841 carries a certain quiet drama within it, a sense that time itself paused, took a breath, and then moved on. Harrison's presidency lasted only a matter of weeks, but in that short span, he became a symbol of how unpredictable and fragile leadership can be. When collectors and storytellers connect his name to the idea of a gold $1, they are weaving together two powerful ideas: the enduring nature of precious metal and the fleeting nature of human life. This contrast gives the story a poetic depth, turning a simple coin into a meditation on permanence and passing moments. Imagine the glow of gold in a candlelit room in the 1800s, the way it would catch the light and cast warm reflections on wooden tables and worn hands. Gold was not just currency, it was confidence, security, and a tangible promise of value in a world where fortunes could rise and fall with the turn of events. A gold $1 tied to the era of William Henry Harrison feels like a fragment of that world, a small but powerful connection to a time when the nation was still young and every year felt like a step into the unknown. Collectors often speak of the stories they imagine when they hold an old coin, the lives it might have touched, the journeys it might have taken. A piece associated with 1841 invites particularly vivid imagination. One might picture it passing through the hands of a shopkeeper in a bustling town, a traveler on a dusty road, or a family saving for a hopeful future. Each imagined exchange adds another layer to the coin's story, transforming it from an object into a silent witness of countless human moments. The legend of a gold $1 linked to William Henry Harrison also draws its power from the mystery that surrounds rare and elusive pieces. In the world of numismatics, the most captivating stories are often those that feel just out of reach, whispered about in collector circles, hinted at in old catalogs, and dreamed of in late-night searches through auction listings and archives. This sense of pursuit, of chasing a piece of history that might be hiding somewhere in the world, fuels the passion that keeps collectors coming back, year after year. There is something deeply human about wanting to hold a piece of the past, to feel connected to a moment that existed long before we were born. A coin associated with 1841 offers that connection in a tangible way. It becomes a bridge between centuries, a way to touch the era of early American politics, frontier expansion, and the hopes and uncertainties of a nation still finding its voice. In this way, the coin becomes not just a collectible, but a storyteller in its own right. The name William Henry Harrison carries echoes of battlefields, political rallies, and the grand inauguration that marked the beginning of his brief time in office. Linking that name to a golden coin creates a narrative that feels almost cinematic, like a scene from a historical epic where power, ambition, and fate collide. Collectors who are drawn to this story often find themselves reading biographies, studying maps, and diving into the broader history of the period, all sparked by the simple curiosity of a coin and the quiet moments of reflection. A collector might place such a coin on a soft cloth, turn it gently under the light, and let their thoughts wander. They might imagine the cold winter air of Washington in 1841, the crowds gathered to witness a new president take the oath, the sense of anticipation that filled the Capitol. Holding the coin becomes a way to step into that scene, to feel like a participant rather than just an observer of history. The allure of gold itself plays a powerful role in this story. Across cultures and centuries, gold has been associated with wealth, power, and the divine. It has been sought after, fought over, and treasured in every corner of the world. A gold $1 tied to an early American president taps into this universal fascination, blending national history with a global symbol of value and beauty. This combination gives the coin a kind of magnetism that is hard to resist. As technology advances and the world becomes increasingly digital, the physical presence of a coin like this feels almost magical. Its weight in the hand, the texture of its surface, the way it reflects light, all serve as reminders that history is not just something we read about on screens. It is something we can touch, hold, and pass along. This tactile connection to the past is one of the reasons coin collecting continues to thrive. Even in a world of virtual experiences, communities of collectors often form around shared stories and shared dreams. They gather in forums, at shows, and through channels like this one to exchange knowledge, compare finds, and celebrate the thrill of discovery. The legend of a rare gold coin associated with 1841 becomes a kind of common language, a story that brings people together across borders, ages, and backgrounds, united by a shared love of history and mystery. Every collection, no matter how large or small, tells a personal story. Some begin with a single coin found in a drawer or received as a gift, others grow into carefully curated archives of history. A piece tied to the era of William Henry Harrison often becomes a centerpiece, not just for its rarity or value, but for the depth of narrative it carries. It becomes a conversation starter, a way to share not just a hobby, but a passion for the stories that shape who we are. The early years of the United States were filled with bold ideas and uncertain outcomes. Leaders rose and fell, borders shifted, and the nation experimented with what democracy could be. A coin associated with this time captures that sense of possibility and risk. It reminds us that the future is never guaranteed, and that even the most powerful positions are subject to the unpredictable flow of life and history. In the quiet solitude of a collector's study, surrounded by albums, books, and softly glowing lamps, the presence of such a coin can feel almost like company. It sits there, silent yet expressive, holding within it the echoes of speeches, footsteps, and dreams from a world long gone. This emotional connection is what turns collecting from a simple pastime into a deeply personal journey. A coin can be a key to history, a spark for imagination, and a bridge between people separated by time and distance. And now, as promised, we arrive at the point where story meets value and curiosity meets possibility. Remember to comment about your own coins so this channel can provide information about them. Subscribe to USA Old Coins X to continue exploring the hidden paths of American numismatics. And like this video to support and grow this community of collectors and dreamers. The gold $1 associated with William Henry Harrison from the year 1841 can reach a value of $787,000. Top 5. Our path leads us to the years 1849 and 1850, a moment when Zachary Taylor stood at the helm of the United States, and when the shimmer of gold captured the hopes of a country rushing westward in search of dreams. Settle in, let the echoes of the past surround you, and allow this tale of a gold $1 to guide you through a world of ambition, resilience, and the timeless allure of rare treasure. Oh, truly feel the spirit of this story. We must first step into the atmosphere of the late 1840s, when the air itself seemed charged with possibility. The nation was expanding, roads stretched toward the horizon, and whispers of gold in distant lands stirred hearts and minds. Zachary Taylor, a soldier turned president, carried with him the reputation of a man forged in the heat of conflict and shaped by the rugged landscapes of the frontier. His presidency coincided with a time when America looked outward and forward, hungry for opportunity and driven by the belief that the future could be shaped by courage and determination. In this setting, the idea of a gold $1 feels almost poetic, a small, shining emblem of a country chasing its destiny. Gold in those days was more than currency. It was a promise, a beacon of stability in a world of uncertainty. Imagine the way it would gleam in the sunlight, catching the eye of a traveler or a merchant, sparking a sense of trust and possibility. A gold $1 tied to the era of Zachary Taylor carries that same sense of promise, a reminder of a time when the nation's story was still being written with every step taken across new lands. It becomes a symbol not just of wealth, but of the human drive to explore, to build, and to believe in something greater than the present moment. Collectors often say that a coin is like a doorway, and when you hold it, you step into another world. A piece associated with 1849 and 1850 invites you into a landscape of dusty trails, bustling ports, and towns springing up almost overnight. You might imagine it passing through the hands of a prospector fresh from the fields, a shopkeeper tallying the day's earnings, or a family saving for a journey west. Each imagined moment adds another layer to the coin's story, turning it into a silent witness to countless lives and dreams. Zachary Taylor's own story weaves seamlessly into this narrative. Known as Old Rough and Ready, he was a man of action in a time that demanded strength and resolve. His leadership style, shaped by years of military service, reflected a straightforward and steadfast approach to the challenges of a rapidly changing nation. When collectors and storytellers link his name to a gold coin, they are connecting the image of a rugged leader to the enduring glow of precious metal, creating a story that feels both grounded and grand. The late 1840s were marked by movement. Ships crossed oceans, wagons rolled across plains, and letters carried news from one corner of the country to another. In this world, a gold $1 would have traveled as well, tucked into pockets, purses, and strong boxes, journeying alongside the people who shaped the nation's path. Thinking about where such a coin might have been, what it might have seen, and who it might have touched adds a sense of adventure to its story that continues to captivate collectors today. In the world of numismatics, the most powerful pieces are often those that connect us to pivotal moments in history. A coin associated with the presidency of Zachary Taylor sits at the crossroads of war and peace, expansion and reflection. It represents a nation standing on the edge of new possibilities, even as it grappled with deep questions about its identity and future. Holding such a coin becomes a way to hold that moment in time, to feel the weight of history in the palm of your hand. The allure of rarity adds another dimension to this tale. Stories of elusive pieces, hidden collections, and long-lost treasures circulate among collectors like legends passed down through generations. The idea of a gold $1 tied to 1849 and 1850 fits perfectly into this world of whispered possibilities. It becomes the kind of piece that fuels late-night searches, careful study of old records, and the quiet thrill of imagining that the next discovery could be just around the corner. There is something deeply personal about collecting coins from a specific era. It becomes a way to connect not just with history, but with the people who lived it. A coin from the time of Zachary Taylor might inspire someone to read about the Mexican-American War, the Gold Rush, or the political debates that shaped the nation's course. In this way, the coin becomes a gateway to learning, curiosity, and a deeper understanding of the past. The physical presence of gold adds a sensory layer to this connection. Its weight, its warmth, the way it reflects light all serve as reminders that history is not just an abstract idea. It is something tangible, something that can be touched and held. In a modern world filled with digital images and fleeting moments, this physical connection to the past feels especially powerful, grounding us in a reality that spans centuries. Communities of collectors often form around shared fascination and shared stories. They gather at shows, online forums, and through channels like this one to exchange knowledge, celebrate finds, and dream about what might still be out there waiting to be discovered. The story of a rare gold coin associated with Zachary Taylor becomes a kind of shared legend, a narrative that brings people together across distances and backgrounds, united by a love of history and the thrill of the hunt. Every collection tells a story, and every collector adds their own chapter. Some begin with a single coin found in a drawer, others inherit pieces passed down through families, each with its own tale attached. A coin from the era of 1849 and 1850 often becomes a centerpiece, not just for its potential rarity, but for the depth of history it represents. It becomes a way to share a passion, to spark conversations, and to inspire others to look more closely at the small objects that carry big stories. The years of Zachary Taylor's presidency were marked by both optimism and tension. The nation was growing, but it was also facing questions that would shape its future for decades to come. A coin tied to this period captures that duality, the sense of hope and uncertainty intertwined. It reminds us that history is rarely simple, and that even in times of progress, challenges and contradictions are never far away. In quiet moments, a collector might sit with such a coin and let their mind wander through the scenes of the past. They might picture bustling streets, crowded docks, or quiet homesteads on the edge of the frontier. The coin becomes a companion in these imagined journeys, a small, shining guide through the landscapes of history and memory. This emotional connection is what transforms collecting from a pastime into a deeply meaningful pursuit. As you listen to this story, you might begin to look at your own coins differently. Perhaps there is one that has been sitting unnoticed for years, waiting for its story to be told. Perhaps there is a connection to a family member, a place, or a moment in time that gives it special meaning. These personal stories weave into the larger narrative of history, reminding us that the past is not distant or separate, but something we carry with us in everyday life. The legend of a gold $1 associated with Zachary Taylor and the years 1849 to 1850 is, at its heart, a story about movement. Movement across land, across time, and across generations. It shows us how a single object can travel through countless hands and moments, gathering stories along the way. It becomes a symbol of continuity, a reminder that we are all part of a long chain of history, connected by the things we value and the stories we choose to remember. And now, as promised, we arrive at the point where curiosity meets value and story meets possibility. Remember to comment about your own coins so this channel can provide information about them. Subscribe to USA Old Coins X to continue exploring the hidden paths of American numismatics, and like this video to support and grow this community of collectors and dreamers. The gold $1 associated with Zachary Taylor from the years 1849 to 1850 can reach a value of $714,000.